Oh, I was a little bit rushed this morning. Not really rushed, but we wanted to train. We wanted to train. No, yeah, it might have been. Yeah, we wanted to train Think of Galaxies this morning. I wanted to train Born to Dance this morning. There was one other one I went with. Oh, Patrick the Piranha. I wanted to gallop him this morning also. So pretty good day of training. We'll get to what took place last night also. I wanted to start my video today. You know, I'm like everybody else. I'm only human, and I get down in the dumps sometimes too. I'm a very optimistic person, and I know that, you know, it's a big burn. This is a giant... I'm going to need you to turn that down just a little bit. Sorry, honey. This is a big burn. Obviously, one of the biggest in... Well, the biggest in Canada, but one of the biggest around also. And there's a lot of moving parts, and some of those parts come with a lot more expectations than others, right? And obviously when we had things like, we got to stop with Punch the Clock because it's the right thing to do with her, that bothers me, obviously, to no end. But understanding the obvious talent that this filly possesses, it's a little bit different situation to say, I think there's a good horse in there, and then to see a horse go out and perform her first lifetime start in the mud, 58, 27, and 4 on the end of it, and then have to stop with her. It's quite a different thing. So, talking to an older gentleman, older horseman yesterday, and, you know, just about the horses, and you know, he was talking about the great run we've been having in Pennsylvania and Ohio, and I said, it's not all, you know, sunshine and lollipops. I said, you know, we need to stop with Punch the Clock, and Time Is on My Side hasn't come forward the way we want him yet. I'm sure he will. He's right there on the cusp. And he said, I know that you know, when you're so busy you lose track of stuff. He said, Anthony, what you guys have accomplished and what you've built is unbelievable. He said, you're talking about buying Greatest Ending, you're upset because he had a pus pocket in his foot and missed a week. That's a top quality animal. He said, you're talking about Patrick the Piranha having to come back from Plainridge to Northfield because there was no classes for him. That's an open pacer. And he said, we both know what went on with Punch the Clock. He said, that filly, and he said, I don't know her. He said, but I showed him the line. I showed him the race. He said, that is a very, very good horse, and is supposed to be a very good horse. He said, so rather than being upset because you had to rest an immature filly, you know, just so she didn't possibly hurt herself, or you had to move your open pacer out of one jurisdiction to another, or stop with another one for a week while you fixed his feet up, you're missing the point. And this is me missing the forest for the trees sometimes. We have those horses. Those are our horses. And he said, I think you really need to not be so hard on yourself and maybe realize what you have in front of you. And, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to stop wanting more or wanting to do better. That's just the nature of me. But sometimes I miss the point of what we've done and how we got there and what we actually have achieved and what we could achieve in the future also. And that I guess, for that regard, in that regard, I'm even more glad that I took the time to go to the fair. I had one of the best times of my life with Addie Bear. You had a lot of fun yesterday, right, Addie? And got to have a great conversation with a good old horseman. So to put things in perspective, because I'm always trying to put things in perspective. You guys talk about, you know, you hear me talk about taking a step back and looking at everything objectively, but I'm only human. I mean, I fall into the same trap everybody else does sometimes too. So I was feeling, to be quite frank, a little embarrassed that I was griping or whining after speaking to the gentleman, and then at the same time feeling great that we are in the position we are in. You know, the fairs were fun yesterday. It was a good training mile for I'm Fancy Like. She looked so professional yesterday. It was a great mile for What a Mission. Again, the fact that he just relaxed and allowed himself to actually have some fun and just relax was impressive in its own right. And then the mile that's Smoking Hot Irish Girl went, although it was a fair and there's really only one competitor that could trot with her for the most part, I was impressed with the way she went about her work. Down a little bit. You keep trying to sneak the volume up a little bit, you turkey. So just so happy with everything. You know, yesterday was one of the better days I've had this summer, and I've had a lot of good ones. Mostly because of having fun with Addie, but at the same token, the horses look good, and then having that conversation, just an obscure conversation out of the blue, just helped put everything into perspective for me also. I had a great conversation yesterday with one of our clients, Larry, talking about the 2 breaks of JK Mickey Mantle, what my thought process was, why he left Ontario. And as I said to Larry, I'm a little angry over the whole situation. I've asked Ontario, I've asked Mohawk and everybody affiliated with the industry just to put out a list of the horses that are available in Ontario. And why that was important to me was that it allowed me to purchase horses properly for Ontario. Now, I told everybody we had bought Think of Galaxies for Ontario. And then I got looking. Non-winners of 8 went. Maybe there's not a class in between that and the non-winners of 14, but the only 2 classes I saw that went last week were the 8 and 14, right? She doesn't fit the 8. The 14 went in 49 and 4, both classes. 10 would be nice. I'm not begrudging Ontario because they couldn't fill a 10, but I am saying it's hard for me to purchase horses on behalf of that jurisdiction when I don't know what's going into that jurisdiction. Now, to play devil's advocate, they can easily say no other jurisdiction does that. You're right. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be the first. There are going to be more people come behind us, right? I want to believe, 1 second. We're going to get a car wash first, sweetheart.
Daddy, you said no.
No, I said no right now. That was earlier, but I'm going to go now. And then, did I just see you pick your nose, Needed? I have video replay. Are you sure you didn't do that? Don't do it again. And then we'll go to the trampoline place. So what I'd like to see is a jurisdiction, mainly in Ontario, be on the forefront of that, saying, okay, gentlemen, here are the horses that we have in Ontario. These are the ones we're racing. We hope our horsemen keep that list updated. Now, sure, there's going to be some people that don't, but eventually it will become second nature, much like entering your horses online. I assume most horsemen do that now, as they should, right? And from the other side of that coin, much like direct deposit. I remember having a conversation with my buddy Chris, ran Georgian Downs and Flamborough Downs. That might have been 10 years ago now, more. Wow, it was a long time ago. And I remember asking him about direct deposit. He said, well, the initial output for the direct deposit, he said it would take some time. So, I guess, I don't know the best analogy. The infrastructure to put in place to have direct deposit available would be enough up front. It would take quite a while to recoup those costs. Addie, I know you turned it up. To recoup those costs.
Wait, this much?
Yeah, the 0, that would be a great amount, yes. So the initial amount they just thought wasn't worth it, and now in this day and age it is. Probably the costs come down.
I'm so sneaky.
Yeah, you're so sneaky. Turn it down a little bit, please. The initial costs are down a little bit now, so it makes more sense. So I would just like to see a list of horses and say, okay, I can see that there's 8 horses that are racing in the fillies and mares now. There's a 4 or 5. Maybe I'll go and get one of those. But I can't, in all good faith, buy that horse to blindly bring it back to Ontario to not get it raced. And that's exactly what happened. You look at, I'm very upset that Nothing But a Dreamer can't get raced. Now, again, I'm not necessarily blaming Mohawk and saying, oh, it's your fault. Of course not. When they write grassroots classes at Mohawk, there might be 4 or 5 divisions, yet they can't fill the horses that raced in the grassroots class. We have a good trotter, Nothing But a Dreamer. Hasn't been off to a great start this year. Can't race him. Entered in the last 2 weeks and the class didn't go. So it's either race him over his head or don't race him at all. We chose the latter, hoping that he would eventually get in to go. I think being a little, it is, being a little more transparent with everybody, a lot more transparent in the sense that this is what we have to work with. It'll give them a sense of how their condition sheets can operate rather than, combining a ton of classes. And Ontario's not the only one that does this. You remember last week at the Meadowlands, we had to race Delicious Stone against Looks Like Money. So it's not just them. But I would like to see one jurisdiction step up and be on the forefront of all this. And I know clearly by the fact that it's not implemented yet, they don't believe that there is value in that. But I can assure you, as somebody who buys a lot of horses, there is value, because I buy less and less horses geared directly for Ontario now than I ever did, because I just don't have the faith they're going to get in. And I guess also those classes are tough too. So it's not, again, this isn't a direct attack on Ontario or any other jurisdiction. I would just like more information about what's available out there to race. It would allow us to buy horses in a more confident manner. I can assure you this, over the last 3 weeks, I declined to purchase 2 or 3 or 4 horses just because I wasn't confident that we had consistent racing for them after the purchase. That's the truth. So I just think a better job needs done by the industry as far as disseminating the information of what's available horse flesh wise in any jurisdiction at any given time. And they can't do that. They can't just flip a switch and have that done. The horsemen have to populate that. So this is as much a request for the industry to build a list as it is the horsemen to help build that list. So I can assure you we would definitely pull our weight in that regard. I would have it updated in real time all the time, and that would be our goal, but I would like to see that list built. All right, and we already have the information. You have Track It on there. You could easily build something onto Track It that says, here are the horses available at Mohawk. They already have it so that when the draw is done, you can see how many horses entered in the class. So, I mean, all the information I'm looking for is there if we parse it out. We just have to put it all together, I think, in a tool. So, yesterday, we had the horses at the fair race. I was so impressed with all of them. And, you know, somebody said, geez, you're hard on Levack in Action. I'm not hard on her. She's just not a very good horse. I'm not mad at her. I'm not going to be mad when a horse does. And I think she cheats a little bit. So I'm a little bit angry. But she's a baby. What are you going to do? We'll continue to answer the question, a great question last night that Sean, one of our clients, had messaged me and said, does that mean she's just done? No, we'll race her right up. And we're going to the fairs the next 2 weeks. We plan on being at the Lisbon Fair next week, I believe. So we will race the horses that have been racing there. We're going to bring What a Mission back. We're going to probably bring Smoking Hot Irish Girl, whatever Jason decides is good to go to that fair. We're going to bring them to that fair. Fancy certainly loves the fair life also. You like going to the fair, right? Do you like going to the fair? Do you want to come to the fair next week? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Doesn't sound like you want to. You sure? Should we bring Ava and Ollie and Mummy?
No.
Oh, I think we should.
No.
Yes. So the fair. Stop being silly. The fair was great yesterday on almost all the fronts. We will bring Levack in Action to the next fair also. And then I got to sit down and cool off last night. I sat down, and a lady said, sir, would you like a table on the patio or in the dining room? I said, I would like to sit in the coldest area, in the coldest seat you have available right now. Shh, you turkey.
Go.
And they sat us down at a table. Hey,
Go.
can you please stop talking? Appreciate it,
Go.
turkey.
Go.
So absolute euphoria race last night as we sat down, man. She raced so good. 10th at the half, steamrolling on the end of it. I think she paced 52 and a bit, 28 flat in the end of it. Really impressed with how she's looked. Brett and Stacy like her, and pretty hard not to like her. I don't see a whole lot not to like with her. And again, that goes back to, here's another horse that had an injury, had a line in her knee in January, and ended up turning out to be a good horse that is really going to do a lot of good for the stable over the next coming months, and so on and so forth. And this, I guess this only speaks to the conversation I had yesterday, was that, yeah, So Horse had a setback. Still a good horse. And that money is still there to be made. So just do right by the horse, which I already knew anyway. The takeaway for the conversation was continue to buy good horses and do right by them, and you'll have success in the future. I guess that is the fortune cookie message for us right there. So absolute euphoria was great. I thought Don't Talk About Bruno, a good start to his career, slow start to his career, but he's coming on fourth, closing in on them. Probably trotted 2-4, but a slow half. I thought the horse raced pretty good. Gandalf the Black was amazing. You know, I had a lot of messages, mixed messages from people this week, wondering, is Bruno going to the Meadows? Are you going to take him? You know, I don't want to see him leave, but I would like to see him race. And then to see him race so good last night at Georgian was awesome. It just opened up other avenues for him. Hopefully the class in Georgian fills full time. Hopefully we can get him on a regular basis moving forward at Mohawk. I don't want to move him. I think it's an Ontario-bred horse that should race in Ontario. But he should have an opportunity to race in a competitive fashion where we have a chance to win. And that just wasn't the case recently. So very, very happy with what I saw from Gandalf last night. Oakwood Cowboy, we'll get him back to Mohawk. I said to Dominic, the work you put into him has been great. I sent you a horse that was shutting his air off and racing terrible. You know, you were able to mold him and work with him in a way that we can race him from behind. Now we need to get him back to racing fast. So get him to Mohawk. Let's start racing Oakwood Cowboy. But make no mistake, the education that he received over the last 5 weeks was very important, and hopefully will go a very, very long way for us. And then we race Sintra. I think the start of the race was great. Take him back, race him from off the pace. I know what Brett was thinking. He kind of got greased a little bit coming to the 3/8 pole, just past the 3/8. He thought he was going to loop out around that guy and get back into the flow. Instead, everybody filed at the same time, and he was left 3 wide. So obviously not what he wanted, certainly not what we wanted, but it's the way the race shook out. So we're going to try and continue to race. We're going to continue to try and race Sintra in a way that he can hide, right? Grand River, Georgian, the odd class at Mohawk, and that just is the right thing to do for the horse right now. So we'll continue to do that. I guess him getting beat in that class last night only means that he gets to race in there again, I would hope. So that's the problem that Harry brought up. That's the class we were going to race Atlas Hanover in. So a little juggling with Atlas and Sintra this week, and we'll see how that plays out, but I'm sure Harry will get that all taken care of. So this morning, I went and trained the horses. Oh my God, I galloped Patrick the Prana mile 151, which sounds fast. It is, but he enjoys the galloping. He comes in, he's not blowing, he's not stressed. He really enjoys it. This is how we trained him back to the races this winter. You're doing a great job, sweetheart. Maybe just keep doing it, it's fine. So Patrick the Prana was strong. I had said to Jason, maybe next week we'll gallop him like that again on Wednesday, and then we'll enter him in to go next Sunday. I was hoping he fit the backup class somewhere now. He might at Mohawk, but he's not going to Mohawk. He's going to have to go in the Open his next start. Either I looked at the Meadows, unless they open up the backup class for him, which we may give them an option to. I believe they might draw for the Meadows before they draw for Northfield. I have to turn that down just a little bit.
I'm used to it's fine.
I did, but I think you cheated a little bit and turned it up a little bit. Yes, you did, you turkey.
I didn't cheat.
Yes, you did. So Patrick, it's just a matter of when we can. In a second,
It's a beautiful day today.
It is a beautiful. Thank you. It is a beautiful day today.
I'm going to car wash.
I know we got to go get a car wash. Then we're gonna vacuum the mats out here, and then we're gonna go to the trampoline place. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it trampoline place with
Nope, it's only 15 minutes away.
No,
So-
why not
Shh,
moving?
I'm talking to them, you turkey, because I'm talking to them. I'm trying to finish my video. So Patrick the Prana, we'll see if we can get a softer spot for him, but it looks like he may have to start in the Open, which is fine. He's an Open pacer. We'll gallop him again next week around the same 51, 52, about 4 or 5 days out. Should do him good. It certainly did the last time. And today, I felt him. He can be aggravating. If you guys watch him post-parading in the race, he roots his head, throws his head, and he's just frustrating to sit behind. He didn't do that until we got into our training mile today. He went out and jogged around quietly, which isn't like him. But by the time we finished up to get him back to the barn, he was rooting his head the whole time, so he's coming back to life. We'll run him again Wednesday and then race him next Saturday or Sunday. I would like to get a softer spot with him, but I don't think there's going to be any race offices lining up to get a softer spot for Patrick the Piranha. We'll see. I also trained Born to Dance a mile. You know, as I said to Jason, it's kind of a useless exercise. This is his home track. He's not going to jump over the shadows we have on him now, and I went over every shadow, but he knows where they're at. So I think we can pull his head up a hole, although I can't speak to what went on at Georgian. I saw him skip over the shadow, same as you did. Brett said he skipped over the first one. I think that was just the start of a bit of a, I'm trying to find the right word, it was a cascade, right? He jumped over the first one a little bit, the second one a little bit, and then he was still going, we were going wide open. He was trying to fill the 2-hole as he was getting out of gear, and I think it was just a lot of things compounded into him rolling off. Somebody said, oh, you got to pull his hobbles in. Yeah, we can pull his hobbles in. We can pull his head up. All that doesn't matter, right? I mean, the horse paced 53 when it first quarter in 26-4 with that gear the way it was. So it's not that it's the gear's fault. I think necessarily it was a lot of things culminated in that break. So hopefully Brett knows the horse now. Somebody said, oh, Brett's going to be scared of him now. Let me tell you something. You don't know Brett Miller very well. It'd be like saying, oh, that horse made a break in you. You're going to be scared of him now. Nothing scares Brett Miller on the racetrack. I can assure you of that. So he's probably going to go out of there a little softer with him, cover him up, put him in a good spot, as he was trying to do the other day, and I suspect that's what he'll do with Born to Dance. Now, the highlight of my morning was training Think of Galaxy. She trained very, very fast and trained very good. She's staying here. She's going to race. It's okay. She trained very good today. Got over this track amazing. All she wears is a set of shin boots. That's it. So I think of Galaxies is going to stay here, race here in third class from the top next week on Monday, did he say? Saturday, Sunday, Monday at some point in that area. She's going to race here. Man, I was really, really pleased with what I saw from her today. A really nice fit, a really nice mare that I think we're going to have a lot of fun with. And if her training mile today was any indicator of her actual worth and where she can go and what she can do, we're going to have a lot of fun with this mare. So with that, long video today, but I did start it and then Addie interrupted it and picked her nose a little bit and I couldn't finish it, so I did it again. We're getting the car wash. We're getting the car wash, clean up the mats a little bit. And then Addie and I are going to the trampoline place for the afternoon. Yes. And then we have a qualifier, an easy qualifier, but I'll try and fix my mistake with Mickey today. Get him qualified, get that out of the way, and then we have a lot going on tonight. Let's run through today's quick. B. Lisa, first start on Lasix, same class. She should be good. Blanton's Blue is like 8-5 with my brother Mark going to drive him. He should be good. Purple People Eaters picked to win. Irresistible Sun. All these horses are bet down low or morning line low. Purple People Eater, Irresistible Sun, Sedona Hill, even McPaisley, Gypsy Hill, J-Port Beach Boy, My 1%, Venice Blue Chip, I think is the longest odds of the entire day. Maybe like 4 or 5 to 1 or something. It should be a lot of fun. Actually, I should look at McPaisley. She is 5 to 2. Yeah, 5 to 2 on McPaisley. And J-Port Beach Boy is 9 to 5. So it should be a fun day for us. Wish you good luck. Wish me good luck. I hope we have a wonderful day at the races. It is, as Addie said, a beautiful day here in Ohio. It's been a great morning. It was a good day yesterday. Let's keep that going today at Northfield, Ontario, and New York, and everywhere in between. Take care.